Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. So, this is the part 2 of the Anglo Saxon era that we were talking about. So, in the previous class, we discussed about the Anglo Saxon as well as the Norman conquest, and after that, we discussed all the battles that happened and the writers or the kings that were there, how the heptarchy came into being, who was Geoffrey of Monmouth, and we discussed the four dialects as well. So, these were the things that we were discussing in the previous class. I believe you guys have already seen that video. If not, you can quickly pause this one and go to the previous video and please take your notes. So, this is the second part where we will be talking about the Anglo Saxon literature. Let us quickly start to talk about the first thing first, that is how Christianity came into being in this land, Britain. So, as I told you, this was a land that was right now ruled, or you can say inhabited, by the Anglo Saxon. And what is the time period? Just to remind you, it is from 650 till 1066. क्योंकि उसके बाद यहाँ पे कौन सा पीरियड स्टार्ट होता है? It is the Norman conquest that begins here. Okay, so when we talk about this period, we know that the Celts, or you can say the Picts and the Celts, they were living here. Then the Anglo Saxons came. The Anglo Saxons and the Jutes are the three tribes that got paganism here. Okay, after paganism, Danish invasion happens, and of course, gradually it was the Norman conquest. लेकिन अभी हम we are discussing about the Anglo-Saxon and the literary parts that happened. So in the 9th century, the English king Alfred the Great stopped the Vikings from taking over England. He agreed to peace with them, and some Vikings settled down to live in their own area of east of England, and this was called as the Dane Law. This also we discussed. इसके just बाद it was the Christian period that started. So Christian Latinist came here. Christian Latinist. The Christian communities established in the Roman province survived in the western part of Britain. So Britain के western part में when the Romans were there, they still were living. So it is in the 4th, the 5th and the 6th century when this came up. In the late 6th century, what happened? It was the 6th century when Pope ordered that Augustine of Canterbury should lead a mission, and this mission is called as the Georgian mission. And right, so in this mission, we discussed that discovered that it was the mission to convert these Anglo-Saxons to Christianity. So they all said that these Anglo-Saxons, all the Anglo-Saxon people here, they should be converts. They should become converts, and this time they should be converted into Christianity. So apart from this, we realized that Christianity यहाँ से spread होने लगी, and after this there were a number of works, and of course English became an important language that was seen. So there are certain works of clerks, monks, as well as they all are written in English. Christian literature started. It was the religious poetry that started first, right? रिलीजियस पोइट्रीज थी जो किसके बारे में बात करती हैं? मिथ्स के बारे में बात करती हैं. सो दे यूज टू टॉक अबाउट मिथ्स. Then they started also to talk about the other Scandinavian events that happened. काफ़ी वॉरियर्स के बारे में भी, रिलीजन के बारे में भी वर्क्स यहाँ पे आए. But it was definitely the religious poetry that flourished in the northern part of England, that is Northumbrian region, especially in the 8th century, though most of it survived only in the West Saxon transcripts till the 10th century. So अगर कोई पूछेगा तो you should know that ये कहाँ पे किस transcript में थी? It was the West Saxon transcript. Okay, let us discuss the writers now. Eldeham is the first writer. It is 639 till 709 जो उनका period है. West Saxon abbot of Malmesbury right? He was the West Saxon abbot of Malmesbury, and he is the writer of the 7th century in Wessex. 7th century Wessex के writer हैं among the Anglo-Saxon and the author of numerous Latin verses. He wrote number of riddles, about 100 riddles were written by him, and Latin hexameter में इन्हें लिखा गया था. Now, why is he so famous? All of these works are heavily decorated. पहले तो there was heavily decorated style, and apart from this, violent metaphors were used. Violent metaphors were also used, and it became very famous. Next, we have a very important writer, and his name is Venerable Bede. Time period is 672 till 735. So he was a monk of the Northumbrian monastery. He was also a scholar and often termed as the father of English history. His work, Historia Ecclesiastica Gentix Angorum, also called as the Ecclesiastical History of English People, is an important work that was completed in 731 AD. Right? So Bede actually wrote a detailed version how the conversion happened from the Anglo-Saxon towards the Christianity. Right? That is from the time of Saint Augustine. Saint Augustine के time से through the early 8th century तक. After this we have Alcuin of York. The time period is 730 till 804. He is an English churchman. He was an educator. He was a statesman, and he was a liturgist as well. ठीक है, liturgist भी थे ये. So multiple types of works are written by him. Liturgist भी थे, as I told you. Okay, so Anglo-Saxon poetry के बारे में बात करते हैं. Anglo-Saxon poetry is a poetry that has multiple features like caesura. So the first feature is caesura, which is basically the pauses that are there. Caesura, then alliteration, then kennings, rhythm, and they were written in didactic styles. Onomatopoeia, and often in epic form, these works were written. What exactly is this caesura? So caesura, you have each line that has 4 beats. हर line के अंदर we have 4 beats with a pause after the second beat, and that beat is called as caesura. That pause, sorry, is caesura. So 2 words हैं, एक beat आई, दोबारा से आपके पास words आए, ठीक है. So 4 beats per line है with a pause between these 2. This pause is called as caesura. It gave a rhyming, rhythmic effect, and rhythms were very important for the Anglo-Saxon poetry. Then we have alliteration. Alliteration basically is the repetition of the initials, or you can say the consonants of that are there, so that they produce similar sounds. For example, we have the welter of the waves. So v. ठीक है. Then we have kennings. Kennings metaphorical phrases के लिए use किया जाता है. It is an elaborate way of describing something that is very ordinary. तो ordinary चीज़ों को हम कैसे बोलते हैं? Ordinary things are said in a very elaborate manner. Okay. Of course, rhythms are used, and they are written in didactic ways, and onomatopoeia is also used. What is onomatopoeia? The sounds of the words that actually suggest a sound. Okay. And of course, they were written in epic forms. Epic became a very important writing style during this time. Epic के अंदर larger than life heroes के बारे में बात होती है, grandeur thought के बारे में बात होती है. They always start in medias res. किस में start होते हैं? Medias res में start होते हैं. That means middle में start होते हैं. And of course, there are number of supernatural elements that are there. Also remember that there are 4 manuscripts, and the first that is important is Junius manuscript. It is one of the 4 most significant manuscripts that are there in the Old English verse, and it contains about 4 long important biblical poems on biblical themes called as Genesis, Exodus, Daniel, as well as Christ and Satan. Then we have Anglo-Dutch. So then we have these works, and we also know that the manuscript owes its current designation because of the Anglo-Dutch scholar. So ये इनके 4 वर्क्स हैं जो आपको जूनियस मैन्यूस्क्रिप्ट में मिलता है. एंड एंग्लो डच स्कॉलर जो थे फ्रांसिस जूनियस, उनके नाम पे इसे बनाया गया है, राइट. Then there is another important writer called as Caedmon. He is often called as the first English Christian poet also. Venerable Bede first refers to Caedmon, who according to him was someone who was sleeping among the animals. तो उनके अपने वर्क्स में इनको बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसे डिस्क्राइब किया गया है. Caedmon is said to have dreamt that an apparition appeared before him telling him to sing the songs and also to write about the beginnings of the created things. किस तरीके से things started to be created, इसके बारे में इन्होंने लिखना कैसे स्टार्ट किया. बिकॉज ही सेड दैट इनको क्या मिला, इनको एक ड्रीम आया. सो ही ड्रेम्ट ऑफ समथिंग और उसके बाद इन्होंने ये लिखना स्टार्ट किया, राइट. सो ही रोट मल्टीपल वर्क्स. ही रोट नंबर ऑफ हिम्स. और ये किसके लिए फेमस हैं, हिम्स के लिए काफ़ी फेमस हैं. काफ़ी सारे वर्क्स इन्होंने लिखे हैं और नॉर्थम्ब्रियन डायलेक्ट के अंदर इन्होंने मोस्टली वर्क्स लिखे हैं. देन वी हैव Exeter book. Exeter book is also called as Codex Exonesis. There are multiple works that are there. So it is a book that is coming out in the 10th century. It's a 10th century book. And only 4 collections of Old English verse exist, and out of which Exeter book is of course the largest and the most impressive. So 4 collections में से Exeter book सबसे largest है. Exeter basically contains elegies, laments, animal poems, gnomic verses, religious works, and all of them are written there in front of you. You may note them down. The Wanderer, the Widsith, the Seafarer, the Ruin, Dior, the Wife's Lament, the Husband's Message, and over 90 other riddles are also included here. There are certain pagan poems. कुछ पेगन पोएम्स हैं, कुछ लिरिकल पोएम्स भी हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी हैव द ट्रैवलर्स सॉन्ग विच इज़ ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज विडसिथ. ट्रैवलर्स सॉन्ग विडसिथ 143 लाइन्स की पोएम है. यू हैव दिस मिनिस्ट्रल और यू कैन से अ जर्मैनिक हीरोइक एज वॉन्डरर जो अपने बारे में बात कर रहा है. द पोएम इज़ डिवाइडेड इनटू 3 कैटलॉग्स में डिवाइडेड है, एंड दस इट इज़ कॉल्ड एज थुलस या फिर इट इज़ ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज लिस्ट. देन वी हैव द डियोर्स लेमेंट, अ मूविंग एलेजी ऑफ 42 लाइन्स विच गिव्स वॉइस टू द सफरिंग ऑफ द मिनिस्ट्रल हु हैज़ बीन रिप्लेस्ड बाय अ राइवल. तो द डियोर्स लेमेंट के अंदर 42 लाइन्स की पोएम है जहाँ पे एक मिनिस्ट्रल है. सो वी हैव वन मिनिस्ट्रल हु हैज़ बीन रिप्लेस्ड बाय हिज ओन राइवल, ओके, जो इनकी सर्विस फॉर द लॉर्ड जो ये करते थे उसके लिए. द स्पीकर्स सेल्फ कॉन्सोलेशन टेक्स अ मेडिटेटिव लुक एंड जर्मैनिक हीरोज और हीरोइक नेचर की तरीके से इस वर्क को लिखा गया है. देन वी हैव द सी फ्रेरर. It is a poem of 124 lines and it is often considered as an elegy also. It is an elegy since it appears to be spoken by an old man. और याद रखना ये एक old man यहाँ पे एक protagonist है who is looking back in his own life and he is preparing for his death. He discusses the solitariness of the life that he lives and he compares himself to the waves कि किस तरीके से वो लोनली हैं. द कोल्ड, द डेंजर, द हार्डशिप्स आर द मोटिव्स दैट आर रिटन हेयर. ऑल्सो रिमेंबर इट इज़ एजरा पाउंड हु प्रोड्यूस द लूज ट्रांसलेशन. उन्होंने इसका ट्रांसलेशन किया था इन द 20th century. देन वी हैव द रूइनबर्ग. It is a poem that evokes about the unnamed ruin of an ancient city. Then The Wanderer. The Wanderer is basically a poem about a solitary man who was once happy under the protection of his loved lord, but later the lord's death got a lot of hardships to him and he went on exiles, and there were numerous problems that were there. The Lover's Message is another poem. The speaker is a wooden staff on which the message from the exiled husband to his wife has been carved. Right? The Lover's Message basically क्या है? एक wooden, there is a wooden staff on which the message by a exiled husband is written for a wife, right? And it is carved, and the letters are carved there. The staff tells how it grew as how it grew and how important it is until man carved the secret message on it. The staff that was there had no power, but अब वो कितनी ज़्यादा important हो गई है. Then we have the Maiden's Complaint. The speaker here is a woman. तो यहाँ पे जो speaker है वो कौन है? She is a woman who has lost her husband's favor and has been forced to live in a forest, and she is living in a cave there. Right? Then we have another manuscript, that is Novel Codex, and this is the manuscript which is most important. Why? Because of Beowulf. Beowulf is the most important work, in the Anglo-Saxon time, and it was published, or it was seen in this manuscript called as Novel Codex. This itself is a PYQ. There are other works like the Life of Saint Christopher, Wanderers of the East, Letters of Alexander to Aristotle, Judith, that is a biblical fragmentation. Also, Beowulf is known because why Beowulf is so important, or you can say why Novel Codex is important, because Beowulf was written there, and this manuscript gained its name because of the 16th century owner and scholar, and उनका नाम क्या था? इस ओनर और स्कॉलर का नाम था लॉरेंस नोवेल, जिसकी वजह से ये मैन्यूस्क्रिप्ट बहुत फेमस हो गई. Then let us talk about Beowulf. So of course Beowulf एक किसने लिखी है ये हमें नहीं पता. It is written by an anonymous writer, and the Beowulf basically is a poem that contains 3,000 alliterative lines, and it is one of the most important old English literary work, and you can say it is the first work that is written there in English literature, okay, in the Anglo-Saxon dialect. So there is of course it's an anonymous poet, and we also refer to him as Beowulf poet. The story was set in the Scandinavian village in the 16th century, and Beowulf, who is the hero, so we have Beowulf, and Beowulf is the hero. He leaves his home and comes for the aid of the king, और ये एक king को बचाने आते हैं, king of Danes को बचाने आते हैं, whose wall has been attacked, जिनके इनके जो कैसल है उसकी जो वॉल है, इनका जो कैसल है उसका वॉल जो है उसको अटैक कर दिया गया है. सो दिस वॉल इज अटैक्ड बाय अ मॉन्स्टर, एंड इस मॉन्स्टर का नाम क्या है? इट्स कॉल्ड एज ग्रिंडेल. अगेन इम्पॉर्टेंट, इट वॉज अ PYQ ऑल्सो. आफ्टर Beowulf, who slays Grendel, Grendel's mother attacks the hall again, and she also is defeated. Last में we see Beowulf, who is victorious and then goes back to his home. So 50 years later, Beowulf then is again going to fight with dragon, but last में we see that he was wounded in the battle, and ultimately we see Beowulf dying. Right? His followers cremated his body and also erected a tower in the memory of Beowulf the hero. It was in the 1920s that J.R.R. Tolkien translated Beowulf, and in 2014, right, it was edited by his son and published. So Beowulf इतना important क्यों है? पहले तो please read the summary. It is important because summary से questions आ जाते हैं. This is a tip that I wanted to give to you, right? So ये एक टिप ले लो and please इसे पढ़ना. ऑल्सो व्हाट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, थोड़ी छोटी छोटी डिटेल्स भी पेपर में आती हैं, उनको भी प्लीज़ माइन्यूटली याद रखना. ट्रांसलेशन के बारे में भी पेपर में आता है. बेयरवुल्फ इज़ अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्क एंड इट इज़ नॉट कॉम्प्रीहेंसिबल टू अस. तो ये ओल्ड इंग्लिश में लिखा गया है और ओल्ड इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज वी कैन नॉट स्टडी. ओके, सो जब इसका ट्रांसलेशन हुआ बाय J.R.R. Tolkien, देन इट बिकेम फेमस. Then we have Wycherley manuscript. Wycherley manuscript, it contains text of the poem Andres. Andres जो poem है उसके text हैं इसके पास. 2 poems by Cenwulf are also included here. The Dream of the Rood and the Address of the Saved Soul to the Body. Right? So ये works यहाँ पे हैं. There are about 23 prose homilies that are written here that talks about the life of Saint Guleth. The poem the book is also named because of the cathedral library at Wycherley. It was there now, of course now it is in Italy. अब ये इटली में है. In 1822 it went there. Then there are certain songs of war, again important हैं. कौन से हैं? Ode to the victory of Brandenburg and the Battle of Meldon. It's a fragmented poem about 325 lines. And Saxons किस तरीके से हारते हैं उसके बारे में भी बात हुई है. प्लस पेगनिज्म वर्सेस क्रिश्चियनिटी के बारे में भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा बात हुई है. Then we have Cenwulf. Cenwulf is another very important poet. So Cenwulf religious compositions करते हैं and is an important poet in the Anglo-Saxon period. He is the author of 4 poems, 4 important poems. We have Eileen, and after Eileen we have the Fates of the Apostles. These are the 2 poems, and these poems are in the Wycherley book. ये कहाँ पे हैं? Wycherley book के अंदर हैं. Then we have the next work, that is the Assertion. The Assertion as well as Julian. So Assertion और Julian दोनों works हैं जो हमें कहाँ मिलते हैं? Exeter book के अंदर. It is in the Exeter book that we got it. Basically let us talk about the poems also. जो Eileen work है, I'll change the pen and I'll write it here. So Eileen जो वर्क है ये अबाउट 1321 लाइन्स से कंप्राइज किया गया है एंड इट इज़ एन अकाउंट ऑफ द फाइंडिंग ऑफ द ट्रू क्रॉस. इट टॉक्स अबाउट द फाइंडिंग ऑफ द ट्रू क्रॉस बाय सेंट हेलेना. द फेट ऑफ द अपोस्टल्स is another work that is written in 122 lines, is a versified poem that talks about the death of each of the 12 apostles that are there. Then Assertion का जो second part है वो Christ 2 के नाम से है. This is also another important work. And Juliana is a poem that was written in 731 lines. And it is a retelling of the Latin prose, and it talks about the life of Saint Juliana, a maiden who rejected the suit of a Roman prefect. So इन्होंने इनके एक suitor थे. कौन थे? Who was a Roman suitor called as Elysius. Because of her faith इन्होंने इन suitor का जो प्रपोजल था उसे रिजेक्ट कर दिया था. देन ऑफ कोर्स देर आर सर्टेन religious works that became famous, and apart from religious works there are also certain riddles. So कुछ riddles भी famous हो जाती हैं यहाँ पे, and these riddles are also called as enigmata. The Anglo-Saxon riddles are notable for their use. Why? Because वो बहुत ज़्यादा nouns का use करते हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा adjectives का भी use करते हैं. And the riddles usually test the wits of the people. Right? Wits के बारे में बात करते हैं, कितना ज़्यादा wit है लोगों के अंदर. Then there are Christian poems, और the Christian poems लिख सकते हो आप यहाँ पे. कुछ क्रिश्चियन पोएम्स हैं. And in addition to the biblical phrases, there are a number of religious poems, lyrical poems हैं जो Christian poems भी कहलाते हैं. For example, the Dream of the Rood. This is very important. ये work बहुत important है. In the Dream of the Rood, we see एक unknown, and this is a PYQ also, unknown poet है. The person here, the unknown poet, beholds a beautiful tree और उनके हाथ में क्या है, एक rood है, and rood here stands for cross. Rood here stands for cross on which Christ died. The rood tells him its own story. और ये rood है जो खुद ही अपनी story सुना रहा है. Forced to be the instrument of the Savior's death. Okay, and this was a PYQ. The vision ends and the man is left with his own thoughts. He gives praise to the God, and this work became a very, very important work. Okay. The Christ and the Satan is a long religious debate poem that is seen in Junius manuscript, which deals with the conflict between Satan as well as the Christ. And ये 40 days long poem चलती है. Another debate poem is Solomon as well as Saturn, in which Saturn is portrayed as a magician debating with King Solomon. Then beast fables और beastries became also famous. ये लिटरेरी जॉनरा है जो कि सबसे पहले तो यूरोपियन मिडल एज के अंदर आता है, वहाँ से ही फेमस होता है. Collection of short stories that used to talk about animals, plants, etc. And they are basically derived from this Greek version of Philosiologus. It's a text that talks about animals, beasts, etc. These two are very famous, the whale and the phonics. Okay. और सबसे ज़्यादा फेमस होती हैं ये सेकेंड सेंचुरी AD के अंदर आती हैं. और ये फिर कुछ डाइडैक्टिक पोएम्स हैं लाइक द डिस्कोर्स ऑफ द सोल एंड इट्स बॉडी, गिफ्ट्स ऑफ मैन, सोलोमन एंड सेटन. Then the prose works that became famous. King Alfred the Great was a very important prose writer. He is also called as the father of English prose. And these are the works. We have the translation of Orosius, the history of the world, the Pope Gregory's pastoral care, Bede's ecclesiastical history, and soliloquies of St. Augustine. These are the translations that he did. Okay? And all of them are very, very important. He also advocated the use of vernacular का यूज़ इन्होंने किया था as lingua franca rather than Latin. तो लैटिन ना यूज़ करके इन्होंने क्या किया, वर्नैक्युलर लैंग्वेजेस का यूज़ किया. ओके. So there were translations of all these works. He added passages, of moving beauty to many works. And his most important work is the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. इनका सबसे important work is Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, which though not composed by him but under his influence, try to talk about the history of Britain. तो इनके influence के अंदर ये बना था. Then we have Elfric, 1950 इनकी डेट है, is the greatest prose writer till the Elizabethan time and he is most prolific writer of the Anglo-Saxon time also. और mostly इन्होंने क्या लिखे हैं, sermons. He translated about 6 works. His Lives of Saints contains 7 Sleepers of Euphues, then Saint Mary of Egypt, Saint Austin's, as well as Euphrosyne. He is also famous for his colloquium. Colloquium of Elfric basically are the works that are used for teaching Latin in a conversational manner. His Catholic homilies also are famous. In it, basically there are 120 homilies and 3 groups of 40 के अंदर में डिवाइड किया गया है. Elfric prose unlike, so Elfric ने, जब हम Elfric की बात करें, Elfric versus एल्फ्रिड, याद रखना दोनों अलग अलग हैं. सो एल्फ्रिक्स प्रोज अनलाइक एल्फ्रिड इज इंटेंडेड फॉर स्पीकिंग. ये मोस्टली किसके काम आते हैं? स्पीकिंग के काम आते हैं. दैट इज़ वाई दे आर वेरी ल्यूसिड, दे आर वेरी वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड ऑल्सो. काफ़ी ज़्यादा स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड भी हैं ये सारे वर्क्स. ऑल्सो एलिटरेशन इज यूज्ड हेयर. देन वी हैव, आफ्टर दिस वी हैव वुल्स्टन. सो वुल्स्टन का टाइम पीरियड इज 1002. He is the chief literary contemporary writer of Elfric and he is best known for his homilies only. इनकी भी homilies famous हैं. He is very artistic और forceful impulse है इनका prose writing में. He is best known for his Sermo Lupi ad Anglos, in which he blames the sins of the English for Viking invasion. ये क्या बात कर रहे हैं? He talks about द सिंस ऑफ इंग्लिश, की गलती क्या की थी ब्रिटेन ने फॉर द वाइकिंग इन्वेजन्स. क्यों वाइकिंग ने इन्वेड किया. ही ऑल्सो रोट क्लerical legal text that are like texts like Institutes of Polity and Canons of Edgar. Right? These are the other works that are there. So I hope you guys understood कि कौन से works हैं that can be asked. And right now तो we only discuss the Anglo-Saxon period. अभी हमने क्या discuss किया? The Anglo-Saxon era in the first video, and then we discussed about the texts that are pertaining to the Anglo-Saxon era. We also have the Norman age. We have discussed the Norman age, but I will discuss the texts that are there in the Norman age and how the way in which poetry and prose that were written in the first age, they changed when we try to talk about the Norman age. Okay, so basically this was it for the video. We discussed number of works that are important, can be asked in your exam. Now a tip, you need to read this work, that is The Dream of the Rood. ये पेपर में ऑलरेडी आ चुका है. दिस इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. ऑल्सो प्लीज़ रीड अबाउट बेयरवुल्फ. एज आई टोल्ड यू, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वर्क है. अभी तक इसकी काफ़ी सारी अडेप्टेशंस बनती हैं. इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्क एंड ओल्ड इंग्लिश स्टाइल में है, तो सबको समझ नहीं आया था. इसकी ट्रांसलेशन की गई तो समझ आया. किसके बारे में है? हीरो है हमारे. हीरो कौन है? बेयरवुल्फ. And Beowulf poet के नाम से this became famous because it is written by an anonymous poet and we don't even know ये कौन से poet थे. Okay, so with this I'll wind up. Thank you, have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.